I'm here. This is me on the poster.
On that poster? That's you?
Yeah. Very small.
What opera is it?
That was a concert, actually. That was one of our Sängerkrieg, where we battle it out for audience votes. Well, I wanted to move to Germany because I wanted to sing. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to have the singing career that I wanted in New Zealand. I knew that there wasn't enough for me to do, that it was such a small pool. And in Germany, there are so many opera houses that are government funded, which weren't crashing in the recession of the end of 2008, early 2009. So it made a lot of sense to come over here. I was at a point in my singing where I felt like I had done everything I wanted to do in New Zealand. I'd finished my studies and I'd sung for the New Zealand Opera Chorus and had a great time and was ready to go overseas. And I was just really lucky because at the time I was dating a German boy who said, yeah, I want to go back to Germany as well and study and, yeah, get back to the homeland. So we came over together 4 years ago, and then we got married. So it's a good reason to stay. Things are incredibly different here. It would have been so much easier to go to England. I would have fitted in and known where I was and what I was doing, and I could have communicated with people a lot easier. But I took the hard, the more complicated route. But I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did because we did something different from our friends and from the other singers in New Zealand who were all going to English-speaking countries. I'm proud of myself for choosing the more difficult path, and I'm proud of myself for having stuck it out as long as I have and having achieved those goals that I set for myself from the very beginning, to sing.
What about your German today?
My German today. Yeah, look, there's a difference between fluency and accuracy. So I can speak very fluently all day if I have to, and I'm particularly good after a beer. After a beer, my German is perfect. However, as I say, it's not always accurate, and there are some things in German that I truly don't think a non-native speaker is ever going to come to terms with. The masculine, feminine, neutral, yeah, with all of the nouns, der, die, oder das, trying to get your adjective endings right. The grammar is really hard, and I don't think you're ever going to be perfect. So I do my best. And when I got this position here, I showed up to my first rehearsal and my German was so terrible, I wondered how I was going to get through the day because I really didn't know what people were talking about, and trying to take direction, for example, from, on the stage, people saying, yeah, go left, go right, turn here, pick this prop up. I didn't know what they were talking about. I just pretended that I did. I just kept smiling and nodding, and eventually I found my way. So we have an expression in English to throw yourself in the deep end, to go into something really no idea what you're doing, and you just got to start swimming, which is what I did. But I actually think this is a skill that New Zealanders have. It's in our nature to go into an uncertain situation and just start swimming, just start making it up. However, you've really got to have a distinction between the German that you use in every day and at the supermarket and with my friends in the pub, and the German that I use in the theatre. The German that I use in the theatre, for example, Wagnerian German, this is kind of the equivalent of Shakespearean English. You don't use this German day to day. And there's a lot of words that even native German speakers have no idea what they mean. So you look up a Wagnerian word online to find a translation, and it says, no translation found, because the word really hasn't existed in the German language for 200 years. But it is a really fun party trick to pull out some Wagnerian German and to have German people going, really don't know what she's talking about. I've been so lucky that I've now lived in 3 German cities, in Cologne, in Stuttgart and in Hamburg. And they're all very different. Any German person will tell you that. There's a different culture between the cities. But Hamburg is my favourite, and I think that comes down to the fact that there's a harbour. And as a New Zealander, you've got to have ocean nearby. You've just got to have the ocean nearby. And I felt in Stuttgart extremely landlocked. Something wasn't quite right, and it was because you would have to drive for a day or maybe 2 days to get to some ocean. So Hamburg has a special place in my heart for that reason. I think also because this is where my career developed itself. So I only have positive connections with Hamburg, of becoming a singer, of doing what I love, working regularly, and having made amazing friendships here. We always knew that Germany was going to be a temporary thing because I'm very close to my family and they're back home in New Zealand, and it's really hard to be so far away from them. So I think we had some goals when we came over. There were things we wanted to achieve, but in the back of our minds, we knew that we were going to go home. We knew that our hearts were in New Zealand, and we would go back there one day. And that's always been the plan. So we're going to head back to New Zealand this year, after 4 years. And that decision was not an easy one at all. Very mixed feelings, because I've come to love Germany so much. Something I didn't actually expect would happen.